but you wrote that in Gibraltar.
I did.
Okay.
I actually, if we wanted this to get beefy, I wrote that about his cousin.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Successfully Unsigned, your favorite music business podcast. Today we have a super special interview for you. We have Layla Rose and Nikolai Celecia from the country of Gibraltar here to talk to you about their music. And during this, we get a great glimpse of some of the cultural differences, both in music and outside of music, between our two countries. This is an episode you're not going to want to miss if you love world travel and you love learning about other places. Plus, they share with us some of the stories behind some of their songs, what's coming next for them, and of course, this Friday we will have not one, but two Successfully live sessions, exclusive performances from each of them of their original music, right here on Successfully Unsigned. If you like what you see in here, make sure that you subscribe, hit that like, hit the notifications, rate us on your favorite streaming platform, and find us on social medias at successfully_unsigned on Instagram and Unsigned Podcast on TikTok. If you're listening to us, you can also watch all of these episodes on YouTube at Successfully Unsigned. Now enjoy this wonderful interview.
Welcome to Successfully Unsigned. Y'all, we have I'm so excited for this episode for many, many reasons. First off, we got our first international guests on our show. Second off, we have one friend that I know, I was about to say very well, as if we've talked and talked and talked. We really haven't, but I know her well enough. And then one new friend. So introduce yourselves.
So my name's Layla. I go by Layla Rose musically, because no one can pronounce my last name. But yeah, I'm just singer-songwriter from Gibraltar, and then...
Yeah, my name's Nikolai Celecia. Do I look at the camera? Do I not look at the
Either
camera?
one. Yeah, do whatever you want.
My name's Nikolai Celecia. I'm from Gibraltar. I live in Brighton. I do music. Yep.
Okay, so we have two guests from Gibraltar, and me and Layla were in a PR class. Mm-hmm. And let me just say, Layla, honestly, you low-key got me through my last semester.
Really?
You and Nico Kana.
She was so sweet.
She was so sweet. Shout out to her. Yeah. She's still around.
Is.
She's like traveling the world.
Yeah.
I don't know where all she's at.
Living the dream.
But that was my last semester of college, and I was so burnt out. I literally was this close to dropping out, but I was like, I just got to push through this last semester, and I ended up having to take more classes than I thought I was going to. But being in that class and knowing that I have people that I talk to, I'm like, it's going to be awkward if I'm not there all the time. They're like, well, where were you?
Yeah.
You have those friends at school that you're like, oh, well, they're going to ask if I'm not there, so I should probably go.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So thank you. Low-key, you're the reason I graduated.
I'm so glad.
I'll give you that credit.
But no, that's actually really funny you say that, because that was my first year, living in the US, and that was pinnacle of depression and hating life, because I just was alone on the other side of the world. So having you in class, someone that actually spoke to me, was really nice. So at least we impacted each other's semester.
Yes,
you know?
And now here we are years later. I guess it's been what,
it's
2
2 years now.
2 years, yeah.
That's crazy.
And so and you're graduating soon.
Next May. So I've got a year left.
Okay, very exciting. Nico. Wait, Nick. I'm sorry. I'm just calling
Nico,
you everything.
Honestly, Nico's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. You are just graduated recently, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I got a first, and it was in Brighton, which is in UK.
Okay.
Which is
Yeah, first is graduating with a 4.0. That's the equivalent.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was different.
No, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought valedictorian, which I guess that is similar, right?
I don't know how that works in college.
Honestly, I really should know that, but I don't. I obviously was not one. Okay, so I want you guys to just kind of go from the beginning. That's typically where we start. Layla, I know you have some big influences from your dad, but just kind of each separately, and then kind of talk about how you guys know each other.
I can start. I started doing music late, so that was big thing. I think I only listened to what I was shown, but I never really sat down to listen to music. So I started a bit late. So I'm only probably the worst type of musician. I'm finding out about all these big artists now. Bob Dylan, didn't listen to him till about last year. But now I love him. You know what I mean? Now he's one of my biggest inspirations and stuff. So I think I started in Gibraltar, and I only did it because I kept going to singing lessons, and my parents never heard me sing. And then all of a sudden I was just like, you know what, they said they're going to take me out of lessons if I don't start singing for them. So ever since then, it went on and I just carried on singing, which is great.
That's so cool. Okay. It shows though, you have a really good voice. And,
thank you.
And for me, like I always say, it's hard for me to, I just prefer like female voices, like listening to music. So it's hard for me to kind of enjoy male voices as much. Yeah. But I like genuinely really like both of y'all's music a lot. Layla knows how much I love her music, but like the reason that I found out about Nick was through Layla's TikTok, and I'm literally making them do a personal performance for me later, by the way, of Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. And then you guys have done some other songs, and I was rewatching some of them today, and then it's just like this beautiful landscape of Gibraltar, which I'm low-key, I may need to hitch a ride with one of y'all sometime. Because that place looks like a movie.
Yeah. Well,
genuinely.
You should come. I'll be there. Hopefully, I'll be there for like a couple weeks every summer.
Okay.
So.
Low-key, I might actually hit you up.
You should.
Not this year because I don't got the funds. But
that's valid.
when this podcast hits it big, we're making money. I'll hit you up.
Summer. This time next year.
Yes. No, it's like watching you guys like play like in around a bonfire on the beach, and it's like nighttime. I was like, this literally looks like it's the end of a movie. And I'm like, it's emotional just watching it.
Yeah, honestly, now not emotional, like depends the day, but sometimes I do get emotional watching those videos because I'm like, wow, like my home actually is so beautiful. But you probably feel the same way. Like I just didn't appreciate it till I left, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like never, everyone doesn't appreciate it until they leave.
Yeah. And we'll get into that about your music later. Okay, so Layla, what about you and your music influences?
So I'm the opposite to Nick in the sense that I started like super young. Like I don't remember the process of like learning to play guitar, like because I started off so young, and my dad just taught me, which I'm still a beginner, which is ironically really funny. I still just play like cowboy chords, like very basic chords, but like but yeah, I picked up guitar and I started singing because my dad just did my whole life, and like I'd grow up watching his gigs, and like he was actually reminding me, which I didn't remember this, like I would go up to his sound checks with my ukulele and stand on stage with him thinking I was part of the band when like I wasn't plugged in, like I wasn't making any difference.
That's so cute.
But
though.
I genuinely thought
That's
I was.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I like got into music definitely because of my dad, and then like he kind of just introduced me to like kind of like classic rock as a kid. And then I started listening to Taylor Swift when I was like 9-10 years old, and then I was hooked on Taylor Swift up until like her 5th album dropped. I like to like more country stuff, and then from her I started listening to country music, and then like I went from just writing like singer-songwritery stuff to more country leaning stuff.
Right.
So definitely my biggest influence was my dad, but then like Taylor Swift, I have to say, did like get me into the country side of things.
Have you ever heard of Swift Artists?
No.
Okay, it's a showcase in Nashville.
Oh, I have. They used to do it at Cafe Coco, right? Yes, that's right.
Yeah. You should hit them up. I'm sort of friends with them. Actually, one of the co-founders I was in a lot of classes in through like media studies and stuff. So you should definitely hit them up. Like they have I'm not a fan of writers rounds, but really? I actually like their writers rounds.
Okay, cool.
So.
And like, do they play like Taylor Swift?
So they play, I know at least, I think it's you play your original songs in at least one Taylor Swift cover. I think it's just one. So it's still like your original music, but then you also like kind of have this different flair. And then sometimes if they have extra time, they're like, oh, let's all sing a song together. So like we did like Shake It Off, the one that I went to. We have a couple of past guests. Shout out to Becca Trimmel and Missy Ecker, who have been on Swift Artists. So it's a really cool sort of deal. Okay, so how did you two like meet each other? Like, did you grow up together or?
Ish?
No, well, yes. The thing with Gibraltar is that like it's 3 square miles and 30,000 people population. So really, like you grow up knowing everyone that lives in Gibraltar. So like we knew each other, but we didn't really become friends until we were like 17.
Yeah, I remember sitting in casemates with you though, and you were probably one of the first people I sang to.
Yeah, well, that's because Nikolai was one of the popular boys, let's face it, and I wasn't one of the popular girls, so that's why we didn't really mix in high school. But, one Friday night when we were like 15, like, we both randomly started singing Elvis in the middle of the street at like
outside of
midnight.
Burger King, no?
Yeah, outside of Burger King. But then we just didn't hang out ever again for like 2 years. When we were 17, he started playing at this venue that I had been playing at for a while called Rock and the Rock Club in Gibraltar, which is like, I feel like once you start playing there in Gibraltar, that's where you start getting more gigs because that's where you meet most musicians at. And then that's where we became friends. And then I think since we started hanging out because of Rock on the Rock, we just kept hanging out ever since.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally.
Yeah.
And then like especially like through lockdown and stuff, everyone became closer.
Yeah,
especially,
exactly.
like,
During
'cause-
COVID, like you were allowed to go outside for like walks and exercise and stuff. So we would do that. That was the only that was the only time you could interact with people.
Yeah.
So that's how I think we got closer from that.
So was it kind of like a magical moment when you guys first started singing together? Because like y'all's voices go together so well. Like even on I think you have one of the videos of you two singing together pinned to your profile, and like all the comments are like, oh my goodness, your voices like just mesh so well together.
Yeah, well, we've been friends since we were 17 or 22 now. I can't do the math, like 5 years? 4 years,
Yeah, that sounds really bad. I think it's 5 years.
Yeah, but we actually didn't start singing together till like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So, but honestly, when that did happen, it was cool, but we're not very sappy towards our friendship with each other. So I think we were just kind of vibing.
Yeah, it's just kind of jamming. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of touched a little bit on it, but like, can you kind of talk about the music scene over there and just kind of like, what are some similarities and differences, and kind of like, what is it like?
Yeah.
It's I'll take it. It's so different, I think, because there's opportunity, but you do need to, I think, get outside to find a lot more. I mean, now it's getting better. We've got people like Wayne Mina. Shout out to Wayne. He's a legend. He puts on festivals and stuff.
Okay.
And he brings people over, so he's creating a nice little change to the scene and to the opportunities. And I think, I think it's going in the right direction, but it definitely could be more opportunistic.
The thing with Gibraltar is that because it's such a small place and like we're on the border with Spain where they have like completely different music and language, like we're kind of like isolated in that aspect. So like for how small we are, our music scene is actually really good. Like we have a lot of playing opportunities, but you wouldn't get anything out of it in the long run. It's more like you could play shows every weekend, 3 times a week if you want to, maybe 4,
as well.
and you make decent money, but like you can't live off it because there's not enough, like you can't play every single night. And then like you just play bars and you can get local recognition, but it's not going to get you international recognition.
Right. Are there like studios and producers around there or anything?
Yes, but it's like not at a professional level. It's like guys have sheds and they produce in their sheds, which honestly still gets you a great sound.
To
but
be
like,
fair, our government promised that there'd be studios for us to use.
Yeah.
They lied to us.
But honestly, we can't complain in that aspect though, because they give out you can apply for cultural grants, which like they may not fund your entire project, but like I've been lucky enough to have applied for 2 cultural grants, and then the government of Gibraltar paid for me to record at Blackbird Studio twice. So like we may not have the facilities, but you can apply for like grants that will give you access to facilities.
That's
so like
really nice, especially for Blackbird.
Exactly, so like it's not like they may not cover the entire cost, but also it's like you do have to work some yourself, you know what I mean?
It's
and like if you want to do
privileged
stuff, work for it. But we're very lucky in that aspect because the infrastructure isn't there, but we have resources to help us get what we need to get creatively.
So is it mostly kind of like folk or country over there? No.
I was the only country artist in Gibraltar.
Really?
Up until maybe like I was 16, there was another band too that started doing country, and then Nikolai got into country like what, year ago, maybe 2?
I went to folk first and then into country. But I've always liked like American side of folk, you know what I mean, more than anything. So I think that was.
Wait, is it more like I don't know, like punk rock or whatever?
Mostly rock, I would say. Rock
Spanish,
and pop.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too.
Yeah.
Like, I would assume a lot of people go to Spain.
Yeah, but reggaeton, like, it's not local music. There's only one
definitely
person.
not local music.
Like, local music scene is mostly based on rock, I would say.
Okay.
Different variations, like metal or classic rock or grunge, but mostly rock.
There's a few country bands. No, not country.
There's just one.
Is it
That's
one?
Ace of Slades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Ace of Slades,
But that's it.
So what Is there like a different genre that you guys would do if you weren't doing the ones you were doing? No?
Not for me. I mean, unless you go like the Americana route, where it's like Americana can be anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could maybe go
country
more,
through and through.
Yeah, maybe.
The shirt says it all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, maybe I'd go like, if it was like someone forced me not to play country music and I had to play something else, then I'd lean towards folk or Americana. But yeah, not by choice ever.
No, definitely folk Americana. I don't even know what else I'd be doing.
You could rap.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm just
definitely
playing.
not. No,
get
I
down
think
with that?
probably some sort of pop.
Yeah.
Some sort of pop. But I definitely don't want to do that. So I'll be sticking to folk and country. That'd be great.
Okay, so I know I've talked to you a little bit about this, like especially when we first met. But is this your first time in the States?
I went to Florida 10 years ago now. No, probably like 6-7 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a while. But what are like some big differences that you guys notice just in general? I know we've talked about like the food some, and I'm actually curious to like hear what you say about the food, just because you're just visiting.
Yeah.
But what are like some big differences that you notice?
Space. It's just spacious here. It's so nice. You can, I don't know, it doesn't feel claustrophobic. And like, I don't know, I live in a city, so it feels claustrophobic and sometimes a little bit dirtier. Whereas here it feels really clean and crispy.
Oh, that's actually really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Would not have expected that. Okay.
Yeah. My favorite difference is definitely the like, this is probably like a southern thing, but just like how nice people are to strangers. Like back home, like no one would ever randomly go up to you and be like, oh my God, I love your outfit. But here I feel like that happens to me and like I'll say that to people and it's not weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's
just like at least once a week someone will say that to me and like I'll say that to people and like it's just
You're
nice.
very
It's
fashionable.
not strange. Thank
It
you.
helps.
You're very fashionable too.
Thank you.
But yeah, or even like starting a conversation in elevators with strangers and stuff like that, which we were talking about earlier. Like that's my favorite cultural difference.
Yeah, I got on the plane and they made 2 friends. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and I would definitely say that probably is more of a southern thing. But I agree, like especially the Nashville music scene. Like I feel like I've talked about with a lot of artists. It's just everyone's so like supporting of each other and friendly toward each other. And I've really come to like enjoy kind of the scene here.
Yeah.
What about like? Okay, so actually, I do want to ask about the food because when we first met, I remember you saying like my stomach was wrecked the first few weeks because of all the like processed food versus like over there, it's a lot cleaner. So I want to like kind of hear your opinion and then I guess kind of how you have since then kind of I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, you can. He had a biscuit for the first time today, man. You've got content to talk about.
I had a different idea of what a biscuit was. I thought it was more like a scone.
Yeah.
Like a scone, whatever you want to call it. But
Scots.
yeah.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
He thought. Do you know what like a lighting sconce is for a house? It's like it'll be lights that you put on the wall specifically.
Okay.
Like typically like between or you put 2 between art or anything like that. Well, he kept saying, so we had a wall scone. And I was like, a wall scone? It's a wall sconce. And I work in interior design, so I was like, idiot.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I would just picture an actual scone like stuck on the wall.
Literally.
But yeah, what's it called? It was great. It was like inside. It was like a burger, but with the biscuit.
Well, we call chicken sandwiches chicken burgers. I get that. I guess that's what you're going for.
I get what you mean. I mean, in England, it's a burger.
Yeah, I feel like he hasn't been here long enough to like. All he's eaten is cookout and a chicken biscuit.
Cookout though is like that's a big one to start with.
It is. But
Like, that'll
it's my
get you something
favorite
going.
It was
fast
really
food
nice,
place.
Yeah, it's good.
I will
It's
say.
good.
Yeah.
Sponsor us Cookout,
Yeah,
please.
for real.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna kind of interview you guys separately. But we'll be right back.
For listening to Successfully Unsigned. I would like to take a moment during this break to remind you to visit our website at su-podcast.com to view all of the newest and latest content that we put out. Also, do us a huge favor and hit like and subscribe on this YouTube video, and like and rate us on your favorite streaming platform. Each one of those things helps us out tremendously. We would love to hear your thoughts on what artists we should have on next, what content we should cover, what kind of topics we should discuss, and any tips and tricks you might have in the music industry. Thank you for being one of our favorite listeners, and enjoy the rest of the show.
we are gonna kind of do 2 interviews in a way, but we'll let them stay. Each of them stay. And I said, you know, if any beef starts or you want to call them out, all good. We encourage fighting on this podcast, obviously, because I literally am always like saying something to Dale. Okay, so we're gonna start with Layla. So I'm just gonna kind of like go through your discography in a way, but feel free, like, if you kind of want to. We've talked about your origins a little bit. Actually, what I did want to mention, I was reading an article that I think was posted by the Gibraltar Chronicle. Y'all, I'm sorry. I get so embarrassed about like my pronunciations of things.
No, that was perfect.
Okay, good. And so I'm very self-conscious about anything I say. So I saw that you wanted to move to Nashville since you were 10.
Yes.
And you tried to convince your parents to move here.
Yes, they like immediately shut that idea down. They're like, we could take you like vacation sometime eventually, but we're not moving there. Yeah.
And so after you graduate, are you still planning to stay here if you can?
I definitely want to try. I want to after graduating, I need to like change visas, and I'm trying to get a visa that is a music visa, so it would basically allow me to like make money through music, and the only downside to that is that I could only make money through music. So I'm gonna have to be playing balls every night, which is fun.
Yeah, but oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about your album, which you released in 2018, and as far as I can tell, unless you've wiped certain songs from your discography, that is what you started out with. Can I ask why start out with an album versus like single or EP?
Honestly, when we recorded it, we were under the impression that 7 songs was an EP, but then like when it was out on Spotify, it just came out as an album. So we're like, okay, cool. But our intentions was for it to be an EP, but I guess an album kind of looks better in a way. We honestly, I was very lucky back when I was living back home. My band was made up of my dad and a bunch of middle-aged men, so no one really cared about. Have you seen pictures from that?
Oh yeah, I've seen some videos and pictures, and I was like, that's so fun.
It is really funny, but one of them was my dad. My drummer was my high school teacher, which is hilarious.
That's
while
amazing.
I was in high school, and he was like actively teaching me. And then a bunch of my dad's friends, and so they didn't really care about the money, which was great. So like we were able to, like, every gig we played, we just put the money towards recording. So we were able to record an EP.
That's really nice.
Instead of singles, which I mean, now like that I have some industry knowledge, like as like a music business major, I realized I should have released a single first. But I'm like, whatever. I was 16. I wasn't really thinking logically.
Right.
But that was just a super fun project for us because we just got to record all the songs that we had been playing live at that time. Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of go through the songs. Let me start with Where Did She Go? Goes hard. That song is so fun.
Thank you.
Do you want to, and feel free to just stop me and say anything about them. I started laughing during Bootlick and Lies too.
Oh,
that one's funny.
That's hilarious. That's one of those songs that like I'd never release now, but because I wrote it when I was 13 and like released it when I was 16.
You wrote that when you were 13?
I did.
That's so
and
funny.
It's funny.
That's
I can't
amazing.
say the word that it was supposed to be instead of bootlicking, but we have a phrase in Gibraltar called like chupaculo.
Okay.
Which basically means like someone that's like just like a
kiss ass, no?
Yeah, but we're not supposed to say that.
Is that a bad word? Yeah, I didn't know it was a bad word.
But the second part.
Sorry.
But basically that. So like I just took that Spanish phrase and like was gonna say ASS licking lies, but my dad said, Layla, you're 13, you can't say that in a song, and I said that's valid. So we changed it to bootlicking lies. But yeah, that one was actually about the like girl in high school that I had beef with the entire time throughout high school, and like I made it known to her that it was about her, which now is really embarrassing, but she knows that it's fine. We're friends now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Period. You know.
Yeah.
Empowered women empower women.
Exactly.
I guess I thought, like, I was trying to pay attention to the lyrics. I also was thinking, like, because isn't bootlicker, like, oh, like, you love corporate America and all that or something? I don't know.
Maybe, not to me.
I guess that's kind of what, that's why I was like, oh, wow, 13. Like, man, she's really, like, in the know. She's very woke.
No.
But we're going to say that that's what it was. And then, of course, like, you have to have a murder ballad.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny's
I'm glad you noticed that. Thank you. Because so many people don't notice it's a murder song.
Yeah, what else would it be?
Because they just skip the bridge, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's. I feel like it's a necessity if you're a country artist.
So, yeah.
You know?
Every country artist needs at least one.
And then I also really, really liked I Stopped Fighting.
Okay.
That was like a really...
Thank you, but that song is hilarious because if you listen to the end of it, it sounds like I'm saying I stopped farting instead of I stopped fighting. And like, I just did not realize that until after it was released and my drummer told me, he's like, I didn't know if I should say anything, but it sounds like he's saying I stopped farting. And I was like, why
should have said something.
Yeah. But yeah, so next time you listen to it, you won't unhear it.
Probably. So how does it kind of compare performing with your old band, or do you still perform with them when you go back home?
No, but I may be this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does it kind of compare versus your current band?
Honestly, like, I know this might sound a little childish, but there's nothing like playing with my dad on stage. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
like,
I don't think that's childish at all.
I mean, I don't think so, but maybe some people do. I don't know.
I obviously don't know your dad, but like just the relationship and the way that you talk about him, just it's very special. Like
Yeah.
it just seems like
We're more like best friends than
Yeah.
father-daughter, but in like a friendly way. But the respect is still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
so much. It's not in like a child abandonment kind of
Yeah.
way, but in like a very, I don't know, that our relationship
Yeah.
is very much like a best friend relationship.
yeah. This man literally like flew out to the States to help her record the
Yeah.
other day. Like he was literally just here.
Yeah,
So
he like flew all the way to the US from Gibraltar for 4 days, like to record at Blackbird with us, which is adorable. I love him.
Yeah. No, I think that's really special.
Yeah, so like I love playing with my guys now. Like I love the band, but like obviously like I can't compare to playing with my dad. You know. Also with the guys back home, I grew up playing with them, so I started playing with them when I was 14 up until I was 19. So like they kind of watched me grow up. So we had a very family type relationship.
Gotcha.
Which was super cool. And like as a band, because they were like all middle-aged men, they had like so much experience in live
Yeah.
and studio. So like it was never, we like first rehearsal we were tight, you know what I mean? It was never like that building
Yes,
part. Whereas
yes.
like with the guys now, I love playing with them, but we've definitely had to build up to our playing. It wasn't like immediately clicking because we're all obviously 21, 22 years
Yeah.
old. You can't compare that to like
Yeah.
having 30 years of experience.
Yeah.
But it's been great. We haven't had the best of luck necessarily in the sense that like we basically have like a half new band in the span of 1 year, just because I mean our previous guitarist, like I'm really happy for him. I'm glad he's not playing with us because he's playing with Trey Lewis right now, which big upgrade for him.
Yeah.
And then we got a new drummer, but it's super fun. We have a very like family type relationship
Yeah.
now, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like we were kind of talking about, you're like, oh, if my dad was on here, like, you know, you don't want a middle-aged man on your podcast. I'm like, no, we've had a couple on. And I honestly, both of them and I'm thinking of, we talked to them for like hours, like outside of just our conversation on the podcast, like talked to them for a really long time. Like one of them, like I've gone to advice about, like just very knowledgeable because they've been doing it for so long. So like they provide so much good advice of like, here's what works, here's what doesn't work, and like, let me help you. So I think that's like really important. Okay, so kind of what are the crowds like? And I guess kind of an answer for, well, I guess more for you because I guess you haven't performed in Nashville. But like kind of what are the differences of crowds between Gibraltar and here?
I feel like they're much more attentive here. Like here, people actually listen to you play, whereas at home, it's just purely background music. Unless you're playing like, once a year we have a festival called Gibraltar Music Festival. At one point it was like run by MTV, and like
that's
that
cool.
happens once a year. And unless you were playing that festival, like people didn't really go to watch. Like you were just background music at a bar or a restaurant, or like that like venue I mentioned earlier, Rock on the Rock Club. Like that's a venue where like people, it's a music venue. It's not, so like people will go there to pay attention, but only like 5 to 10 people show up, including our parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like people that do pay attention, but it's just because they know us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas here I feel like people really appreciate original music, whereas at home they just want you to play covers that they know and can sing along to. And like here, like even if you're playing, at least in my experience, like even if I've been playing a restaurant or a bar as background music, like, obviously you'd have people that are just kind of vibing and not paying attention, but there are always people that like come up to me after and will be like, that was great, I loved this song, like, and they'll mention like a lyric or like a song title from an original, and I'm like, wow, like you actually did pay attention.
Yeah. That's I think that kind of goes back to like the music community in Nashville and kind of how special it is, and like people trying to support each other and lift each other up.
Exactly.
So.
And I'm sure that's like more of a case in Nashville than like some other city that's not so musically based, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally Music City, so like in a way you kind of, I guess you kind of have to.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving forward, you released a couple singles in 2019. A moving piece. I had not listened to this one actually yet until today, called No Easy Way. I really like that one too.
Thank you. I like before I moved here, I reached out to my producer back home and asked if I could re-record my vocals because I did them when I was 15 and I'm not happy with them. But I love the song. Yeah. But he had all my tracks except for that one. He had lost all the stems to that. So I wasn't able to do that. But I actually, at Blackbird Studio, like last week, I actually recorded a new version of that song, which you'll get to hear. It's a more upbeat, fun version of the song, yeah.
I'm excited now. Okay, I'm very excited for that. And then you released a banger called Get Out, which this one I have been listening to for a minute. That one's fun. That one's so fun. I like that one. And so then it was, so obviously that was 2019, and then pandemic hits. So then shortly after the pandemic is when you moved here, right?
Yeah, I moved here August 2021. So like a year and a bit after. Okay.
So then how did you go about like finding your current band?
It's actually really funny how that started out, because I had been like wanting a band, but honestly like hadn't made an effort to actually reach out to people. And then my roommate now, my friend at the time, came to a house show I was playing at with her boyfriend, and he was on Halloween. And he was dressed as a penguin, and I was dressed as Kim Possible, and he came up to me afterwards. Yeah, he came up to me afterwards. He's like, we have to start a band. And I was like, okay. So then he got all the guys together, and then we rehearsed like a few weeks later, and then it kind of happened from that. Okay. So honestly, if it wasn't for Case, and shout out to Case and Wicks, the Layla Rose band wouldn't have started up when it did.
Shout out to you, Kason.
Yeah.
And shout out to Josh Garner.
I love Josh. He's my favorite ginger in the whole world.
His hair is the greatest thing ever.
It is, honestly.
I love his hair.
It is.
I remember like he did Battle of the Bands a couple years ago. Water Street did. Go listen to Water Street. And he like had this like full on like blowout, and it looked so good. It looks sick. I was like, he looked amazing. I love it.
His hair is sick.
Okay, so then in 2021 you released I'm Alive and Soul on Fire, which we've talked about. I love that song so much. Genuinely love that song. Were those recorded in Gibraltar, even though you lived here?
Yeah, so everything, I think those were released like right before I moved here. So like literally one was released like 2 months before, and then one was released like a couple of weeks before, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then, those were all recorded in Gibraltar. The only thing I haven't recorded in Gibraltar were my last 2 singles, Driver's Truck and Howl at the Moon.
Mm-hmm. So there was kind of a hiatus between then and here. Your first song in Nashville, was that more reason just like money, or like you were waiting on grants for Blackbird, or was Driver's Truck recorded in Blackbird?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Last April it was recorded in Blackbird, but that was honestly more like my first year here. I didn't have a car, so it was very difficult for me to do things because Ubers are really expensive and Lyft is expensive. So it was really difficult to even like meet people to be able to like record with, or like musicians to play with and stuff. And then mostly that money, like I didn't know I was eligible for a grant at that time too. So yeah, and it could be expensive to record.
It's so expensive being an artist, y'all. Help these artists out, please. Yeah. Everyone we've had on our show and more, please go help them out. Okay, so then you just recently released Howl at the Moon, another one that was a breakup song.
It was a breakup song.
But you wrote that in Gibraltar.
I did. Okay. I actually, if we wanted this to get beefy, I wrote that about his cousin. It's okay, we all know this. Yeah. It's not new information.
Man.
Yeah.
You got some Gibraltar tea.
We do. Okay. We do. But yeah, no, that one was the most recent single. Yeah. Should stream it.
It's really good. Actually, I meant to ask you. I recently went to one of her performances. Why didn't you perform that one?
Honestly, because we just had 30 minutes and we have a new drummer and a new guitarist, Josh, and then Sean on drums, and they we just basically did the songs we were recording at Blackbird plus like the 2 other songs they already knew, so we didn't have to learn a new song.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
makes
but
sense,
I wanted to play it. But Sean specifically requested Neon to Daylight.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what?
That one was a
fun
one. That was a good one to end on.
Yeah, and that'll be our next single. So we're like, we can get that one out though.
Yes. Yeah. Man, I'm like kind of shook about the team. Tell your cousin to step up. Or
he's got a girlfriend now.
He's chilling right now. Yeah.
It's all right.
All right. So so now that you've kind of been doing, so you're doing more recording at Blackbird, and is that for an EP, an album? Or can you not talk about it?
I can talk about it.
Okay.
It's like going towards an EP for sure. But so on the EP we'll have like Driver's Truck, Howl at the Moon, and then Neon to Daylight. We're going to do like a waterfall release with those, and then like release some of the songs we did at Blackbird.
Okay. And can I ask, are you visiting to be part of this, or are you just visiting for fun?
Just visiting for fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave him the option to come to Blackbird, but he said no, and then...
No, I didn't say no. I had work.
He's a baker.
Yeah, I'm a baker.
Oh! That's so fun.
But yeah, no, I gave him the option.
You should have brought us something to eat.
I should have done it. Definitely should have.
Yeah.
Just ditched it. Works.
Okay, I didn't realize you had already wrapped up recording, but
yeah, it was like just a 4-day thing.
Okay, gotcha. So what do you love so much about Blackbird? Because I feel like you're always like hyping it up.
Yeah, honestly, they just have like a really affordable way of recording. When you're doing it, they basically have the Blackbird Academy where like they train people to be engineers, and also they have one for studio work and then one for live sound. And part of their program is recording bands, which like you have to apply for, like kind of like auditions. You just send in video applications basically, and then they choose whoever like they want to choose. To be recorded for their class projects, like the actual engineers from Blackbird. But because they're like we were engineered by actual Blackbird engineers, but while they were doing that, they were teaching the students how they did that. So you get it for a really big discounted price.
Okay.
And then like I calculated how much the difference would be between like what I paid and what the actual price would be if I didn't go through the academy, and I saved $46,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a good coupon.
So going through the academy is a very affordable way of recording music, because in Nashville, like one song is usually like between like $1,200 and like $2,000, you know, and like this is like $900 for 4 live tracking days, not like without mix and mastering though. But still, that's very affordable compared to other places. And you're like recording in a state of the art like studio with like, which is one of the best studios in the world, not even in the US. So it's like you get great quality for a very affordable price.
And have you met a lot of people? Like, have you, I guess, in a way, like networked your way through there? / I guess probably at live shows too.
Well, I'd say more at live shows, just because they're like everyone's very like time is money. You need to get as much done in like as soon as possible, so you don't really have time to like chit chat with people. But I've gotten the contact information from the engineers that we worked with, and then like some of the students too. Like I've like arranged co-writes with from meeting them at Blackbird, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. What is your writing process like?
It honestly depends the song. We were talking about this earlier. Like most of the time, like I'll have like I've only started like writing about stuff that's not my personal experience in the last year. So it's usually like something that's happening in my life, and then I'm like, that's my way of processing it. Just put it down to song, or sometimes I'll just randomly get a lyric idea in my head, and then I can't do anything until I get it down and finish a song about it. But usually it's that, like I'll start off with whatever I'm feeling emotionally, or like if my friends are going through something that I think would be cool, like to have in a song, I'll use that as inspiration too.
Do you do more like lyrics first or music first?
Usually it's easier if I start off with chords to a song, but sometimes I find myself starting off with lyrics and a melody. But
And do you find more inspiration here or back home, or does it just depend on the song/situation?
yeah, it just depends on the song or situation, because it's like I find it easier to write here just because I have like a more comfortable writing space in like
Gotcha.
my room here than like in my parents' house back home. But like when I'm home, I get a lot more nostalgic, I guess, so it's easier in that
Yeah.
sense, because I don't know, I feel like it's easier to write a song if I'm feeling nostalgic.
I mean, like, because I know, like, Howl at the Moon, you had talked about, you were, like, on the beach, like, writing it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's such a, like, scenic look.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the pictures that I see, I'm just like, oh my goodness, yeah, who wouldn't be inspired over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so, oh my goodness, what was my last question? As we got a giggle monster over here. Oh my goodness, I don't remember. So, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we'll wrap? We'll do promotions and stuff toward the end as well. But
Nothing apart from please stream my music.
please
I
stream my
work
music.
very hard.
It's genuinely like really good. Like I really love your voice and just like your personality. Like I
Thank
said
you so
toward the
much.
beginning, but it's I don't know. I really enjoyed like just listening through your whole discography today, which I'd listened to a lot of it at that point. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting down with this. Even like
Thank you.
the older ones too, which I will say is not always the case for every artist we have on. I'm like, oh yeah, and I can still definitely see your kind of growth and everything, but it's really all enjoyable. Like you just have a really unique voice.
Thank you.
And I mean that in a good way, not in a like, oh, you have a really unique voice.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Like, yeah, like my earlier stuff is stuff that I probably wouldn't release today.
Yeah.
But for it being released when I was 16, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you should be.
Yeah,
You should
thank
be.
you.
Okay. Well, we're going to take another break and then we're going to come back and talk to Nick.
Thank you for watching this clip of Successfully Unsigned. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please hit that like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to find us on social media platforms at successfully_unsigned or on our website at su-podcast.com.
Welcome back to Successfully Unsigned. And now we're going to do our little Nick portion of the interview. Can I just say, I love your hat.
You have my hat.
I love your
amazing.
hat. The
Would
Von
you like
Dutch hat
Amazing. Yeah, thank
is
you.
so iconic. I feel like it should kind of be your staple.
It is. I feel like I wear it for every gig.
Yeah,
I
you
always have a
should.
hat on stage. I feel like the lights are a bit bright sometimes, and that scares me.
Honestly, that's fair. That's fair. No, it's very like early 2000s, but then like
Thank you.
still you mix it in with your like mountain cowboy
Cool.
sort of aesthetic,
Amazing.
so it
Well,
works. And the long
appreciate
hair.
it. Thank you.
It's
That's
great.
what
It's
I'm
great.
going for. So that works. Thank you.
Okay, so kind of what's your perspective watching someone like Layla kind of move away, go to the States and pursue music?
Oh, I wish I was doing the same thing. No, I am doing the same thing, just doing it in a different place. I
Yeah.
feel like so it is. I feel like we both feel like moving away is a good thing for yourself, especially being from Gib where everyone's on top of you every day. You know what I mean? Like it's just so small and stuff. It's great to get out and meet new people and experience new people, because obviously even as a culture we're all together. So even in England you can get different cultures depending on where you are.
Yeah.
So it's just nice, I think, meeting new people, and I think that's such an important thing to bring to songwriting if you are songwriting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
That's good.
you went to school in Brighton, which
Yes.
where is that? I'm terrible
That's
with geography.
south of UK, the southern tip.
Okay.
Well, some would disagree, but southern tip, yeah. kind
Okay.
of.
Okay. And are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I've been there for almost 4 years now.
Okay.
So
how far away is that
from here,
from Gibraltar?
from Gibraltar, 2 hours and a half on a flight.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not horrible.
And a 30-minute train.
Yeah, and then a 30-minute train
Okay.
down from London Gatwick. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
not
So I know we talked a little bit about kind of your origins as well, but you started writing music at 18,
yeah.
and you said it was just kind of because your parents were like, "Hey, you need to start singing because we
No,
paid
yeah,
for these lessons."
The singing part was my parents.
Okay.
The writing part was because I needed to write a song to get into songwriting to do a degree for it.
Okay.
So I just wrote a song and they liked it. It was great. So,
Okay,
but
so-
it wasn't great. Trust me, but it was great that I got it. They asked me to play middle C on a piano, and I got it wrong. So that's where I was at. So
that would probably be me. So what was your major?
It was popular music performance and songwriting with vocals.
Okay.
So it's a bit long. It covers a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I think their main thing in BIM, which is like quite a known university, I think in England and other places, but they love the idea of networking, and I think that's where they base off everything. It feels like, at least, definitely.
Yeah.
So you do meet a lot of people, and I think that's the main thing. Because it's just setting you up to try and be an artist and try and get into the industry, which is, I think, a good idea.
We always say like the networking is the biggest thing, the biggest thing. Like, and like you said, going to live shows and all that kind of thing. I also remembered the question I was going to ask you for the last. What was your major again?
Oh,
or what
business.
is your major?
It's
Music business. That's
recording
what I
industry
thought.
with a focus in music
Okay.
business.
Okay. Okay. So, what did your life kind of look like before that, or was it just like, oh, I was just like a kid at school?
He was a little soccer guy.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I used to play soccer or football. I'm
Yeah,
gonna call it football. I'm gonna
show-
stick to my roots and call it football.
Show it off though. Tell him he was in Gibraltar's national team.
Oh god, okay.
Underage
Yeah,
national
okay.
team, yeah.
yeah. I used to play for the youth team. We went to Portugal and all these other places to play. We always did decently well, especially considering that we were 30,000, a bit more than 30,000, which how much percentage of the population is going to play football is a lot smaller.
Yeah. Right.
So considering, we were okay.
Do you still play some?
No,
No, not
I
at
think
all.
I picked up a guitar and every inch of like sport just
Yeah.
left
Oh my
my
gosh,
body.
that was
Kickball
David with
again.
baseball, right? Yeah, that was his baseball trading card from when he was 10. Okay, so aside from just, your hat and just kind of the look, I really love your aesthetic
Thank you.
musically as well. You describe yourself as sad cowboy mountain folk, which I love. And then the Gibraltar Chronicle in May of last year said you produce a dreamy country folk with touches of shoegaze, big on melancholy and longing. And I was like, that speaks to me.
Yeah.
Like melancholy and longing.
Yeah,
Same.
it was such a nice comment. I think.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's what I'm going for. That's when you get told what you're going for. I think that's such a nice thing. To
Yeah.
hear,
You want people to like be crying in their bedroom listening to
Yeah.
your music.
Exactly.
Yep.
yeah, especially because I tried to do like a mountain country folk thing. So we don't have a mountain. We got a rock.
Yeah.
So I'm faking it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't realize that's not a mountain.
Yeah, it's a rock. I mean, technically, it's the same
It
thing.
is,
You're just
but-
slapping on a different label.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because it's only 300 meters, I think, or something like that high. So it doesn't. It's not
okay.
considered.
It's not because of that. It's because it's limestone. It's all made out of
Really? Is that
limestone.
what it is? So mountains can be limestone.
No.
So it's a rock.
Limestone is a rock.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Does that like
Mind blown.
is that where
mind
like
blown.
a bunch of isn't there like limestone countertops? Is that a thing? I don't know.
What's
I don't
that?
know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe we like get it from y'all. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, no. I wish I could be. I feel like that's like a really like mysterious like. Yeah, my music's all about melancholy and longing, which I wish I could do, but I just like talk too much and overshare way too much. Okay, so since you were kind of starting music around the time you started going to university, correct?
Thing is, I started playing like guitar, but it was kind of like just a few chords with my grandpa when I was younger. But it never really went anywhere than just playing a couple of chords. I used to play Hey Soul Sister like 100 times a day. But it didn't pick up till I was 17, and then 18 I went to uni. 18 you went to uni? Yeah, so 18. It was late. Feels
And
like.
did you like meet other people there that were really into it and kind of like inspired you?
In uni, I did. I recorded my first song with a guy called Pete Smith, who was.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to keep talking about it?
Yes, please do.
He's a legend. I love him, and he really like kind of took me under his wing and said, "I like you, so let's do stuff." And he helped me produce my first song. He did stuff with Sting,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the Police, and he's
Dale
worked
loves
with
the
Stevie
Police.
Wonder. You know what I mean? So he's done big thing. I think he's Grammy nominated or Grammy won. So that was cool. He was definitely one of my biggest, like, he pushed me
Yeah.
to do it. And he always gave me something that was like, you're doing this wrong. You need to get better at that one. So I was like, and even if it wasn't true, he would always say it because it was just something to work on. And I think that was important when everyone else just goes, I like that. Let's just do that more often. You know what I mean? Suppose he was always giving me stuff to do. So, it's nice.
So how long into kind of your university career did it take for you to like start performing live shows?
I was always performing live before in Gibraltar.
Okay.
But I think, I don't know, because I got it during COVID. So that didn't help.
Yeah.
I was in Manchester actually in the start. I started in Manchester.
Okay.
But I didn't like it though. I felt a bit like it was a bit city for me. And I feel like Brighton has a beach and stuff. So I moved down and stuff. And I think then on, it wasn't COVID anymore. So I was able to actually start playing gigs. And we don't have writers' rounds, but we've got open mics, which is just like,
I prefer open mics over writers' rounds. No offense. I mean, you all know that I don't like writers' rounds, but I used to go to open mics in my cousins live up near DC, and we used to go to open mics every Thursday, and they can be really rough sometimes, but they're enjoyable. Yeah,
sometimes they can be really good. Sometimes they can be different.
Yeah.
But
did you ever get like any stand-up comedians at yours?
No, we've had spoken word and stuff, but I've not had any. Yeah. No.
I bless you for not having to. That's really where it's like, oh, please just stop. Please just stop. Because it's like these people, which, I give them props because it's hard to get up there and try and be funny as a stand-up comedian. But like these open mics where you're just like, oh, like this forced laughter. Oh, it's so the secondhand embarrassment. Yeah. So
no, it's mainly music.
Okay, good.
All types. It's like, Brighton's a bit, I think everyone would say Brighton's a bit weird, but it's in the best way, in the best way possible. It's accepting and weird, which is the best thing in the world.
I feel like a lot of your living room reminded me of Brighton.
Really?
Yeah. Like very like colorful.
Okay.
Like
Maybe I need to visit you.
You should visit Brighton for sure.
Yeah.
I think you'd really like Brighton. The lanes seem like they would be your vibe.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do a little more like
Pride
research.
Capital and stuff in London. In England, sorry.
Okay.
So it's like it's cool.
So what's the music scene like there versus Gibraltar?
Very different, definitely. I just think it's the opportunity thing. I think, especially being close to London, which is arguably one of the best places you can get opportunities from.
In Europe.
So definitely. I think being close to London, but not in London is nice because I don't get the hustle of London, but you get the calmness of Brighton while being able to always go over and actually do a gig when you can, whenever you want. You know what I mean? Because it's not too expensive. It's not too far, so it's nice. So I think it's the opportunity thing. Like I've said a lot of times, but definitely. I would be probably back in Gibraltar if I wasn't not doing music.
I gotcha.
So the opportunity thing is the main.
I gotcha.
That brings me there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is more of, I guess, a like side note. Did you like the university you went to?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I feel like there's always going to be the things that everyone doesn't like in the university. Right. There's always things I was like, I don't need to learn this. This is horrible.
Yeah, I saw something like when I was stalking your Instagram, one of the posts said like, has anyone else not done their Duolingo courses? Is that a thing?
No,
like the big green owl?
No, Duolingo is like it's like a language course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I was thinking like you had to do them for school.
No,
okay, you just meant like for fun.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was like, I didn't even like think about anything like that. I was just typing. I was like, yeah.
I literally was like, man, they're making these college kids like do Duolingo. Like, what? And I'm like, what do you need to learn on Duolingo? Like,
that's so funny.
I'm like, you already know Spanish and English. Come on.
I was gonna say as Gibraltarians too. I feel like that's so shameful using Duolingo.
I was using it to learn Dutch, bro.
Dutch. Okay.
Oh, I automatically went to Spanish for some reason.
No. I feel like even though I still learn something on Duolingo Spanish, just because I feel like we always speak differently in Gibraltar.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, is it weird? Like, do you ever go to Spain and like talk to people? And is there like slightly different?
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's like a fairly big difference.
I feel like there's words that we still have loads of words, but there's words that like for cake, keki. I think no one actually says that anymore.
Well, it's just that Gibraltar has like low-key its own dialect.
Yes.
Like, we have words that don't exist in English, don't exist in Spanish.
Yeah.
They, like, just exist in Gibraltar.
That's so
So, like,
interesting.
a Spanish person or an English person would not know what we were talking about. But then, like, because we're on the border with Spain, like, we know Spanish words that we wouldn't necessarily use, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless you're in Spain speaking to a
Right.
Spanish person.
Language is so interesting. It's so interesting.
It's just such a random, unique place.
Yeah.
It's hard to speak about it sometimes because I just feel like I can't put it to words.
Yeah.
Like even talking to people in England about it, which some people know for what it is,
Right.
and have been before, and even their experience of going as a tourist, it's just not how Gibraltar is, and
Yeah.
I think the to really get a idea of Gibraltar, you need to visit with some locals.
Yeah.
I think, and then
Yeah,
you get
for
you
sure.
get a full.
That's gonna be me.
So if you come
Yeah.
visit, we can give you the full
Okay,
experience.
so I'm Mexican, which obviously like
Okay.
that's a. Have you ever like talked to a Mexican in
Yeah.
Spanish? Okay, I'm sure that's like really interesting.
Yeah, it's different for sure. Like
Yeah.
one of my best friends here is from Mexico, and like we completely understand each other in Spanish most of the time. But there are
Okay.
some words that like we just would have no idea, and then
Gotcha.
like there are some problematic words that like, for example, to me means nothing sexual, but in Mexican Spanish it does.
Okay,
Which is
yeah.
scary.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. So my mom can speak Spanish, but she didn't teach me. So
You should learn.
I know. I need to hit up Duolingo. Like, maybe I did need college Duolingo courses.
Yeah.
They'll send you like 100 notifications telling you to carry on doing
Yeah,
that. So you don't
I do.
forget.
I respect their social media though.
Yeah, they're good.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, while I was talking to your Instagram, I found one of your first songs that you ever wrote called "Thank You for Choosing Me." I really love that song. So, is there any hope for that to ever be released?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
No, I don't know.
Let me just go back and save the Instagram post.
I would probably. I don't know. It's just one of those songs that I wrote when I started doing it, and I feel like it's one of those songs I've left behind.
I
It's
gotcha.
about your girlfriend.
It
Come
is
on.
about my girlfriend, but
I know. I did see that y'all have been together for a long time.
yeah,
Y'all are.
like yeah, long time. Yeah, I couldn't even. Yeah, because I know we weren't together for a little bit in between, so
Okay.
it's definitely longer. But it's like
It's like 5 years total.
Yeah.
I figured that's who it was about, and then I was like, I'm like, it would totally be me to like bring it up, and like we had a guest, and I almost brought it up, and then she's like, yeah, we broke up 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I did not bring it up.
Yeah.
So I wasn't gonna bring it up, but glad to know you guys are still doing well, and y'all are really cute together.
She
So
she lives in Newcastle, so
I don't know where that is.
fair,
but
I forget.
sounds great.
Yeah,
Okay, I also this is another just like language thing. I saw a lot of people commenting, actually specifically on that video, crack. What does that mean?
That's so funny. I've never thought about that.
yeah. But is it a Spanish word?
No, it's a Gibraltarian word. It just means
Okay.
really good. Like
Yeah.
when someone's really good at something or when someone's really cool, you call them a crack.
I don't know why. Where's that come from?
I was thinking like, oh, like this is like crack to me. Like this make like I would like you're my crack, like crack cocaine.
Yeah, I get that. I really don't think that's where it
probably
comes
not,
from. No, I really don't think
don't know,
so.
so you
Because like
never
old
know.
people use that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
But-
I still use it. I feel like I use it sometimes.
No, that's what I mean. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I mean your
like,
commenters too.
yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not picturing these like grandmas commenting like, "This is like crack." You know what I mean?
I'm gonna start on the podcast. I'm gonna start just commenting under all these artists.
should.
Crack.
You
This is
should.
crack.
We'd get it.
Yeah. Specifically on y'all.
I've never thought
Yeah.
about that word too much. And
I just
Yeah.
was like, I'm sure. I mean, I could tell it meant something good,
Yeah.
but I just was like, that's so interesting. Okay, so I guess we should probably actually get to your like releases in music.
Okay.
So finally, almost a year ago,
Yes.
in June, you released Maybe Not Today, but eventually. First off, I just want to say I love the cover art for it because
That's
same,
nice.
same.
Yeah. It's in Sweden. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Love Sweden. So nice.
Yeah, so kind of can you just talk about that and like what you said it took a while for you to finally like get it out, but like kind of talk about the process about it. Was it scary like releasing your first song, all this stuff?
Yeah, definitely scary releasing my first song, especially because I felt like I was a little bit older. I felt more vulnerable to like, I don't know. So I never had that thing of maybe, I don't know, like releasing when you're younger and enjoying that, you know what I mean, and having that experience. So obviously it hit me really hard. And there was loads of things I was like, I can't do this. This is a horrible song. I can't do this.
I gotcha.
But it got to a point, I think, with Peter, he told me as well, because he did that, he helped me with that, not like wrote, but helped me with the producing in that song. He kept saying, like, you need to, like, it gets to a point where you need to stop, like, carrying on, because the more you carry on with the song, it just gets worse. I've realized, at least, in the production of it. So, I think I just stopped. I was like, yeah, this is it. And then I got really happy with it. And I was like, yeah.
It's probably my favorite out of the three. I really like it. And
I think it's the most in my style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think we've talked about this on the show before. Just sometimes it's better to just get something out versus like trying to perfect it and perfect it. And it's like, it's never going to be perfect. And, you know, years down the road, you're going to look at your first song and be like, oh, like, here's what I would change about it now. Like you were saying, but ultimately, like, that's still a piece of you. That's still part of you. And it shows kind of your growth. So 100%. It's important. Yeah.
And what's it called? I think, what was I going to say? I was, that song was written as a poem first.
Okay.
That's how the writing process was.
Do you do a lot of poetry?
Yes. It's like I started and I stopped, and now I'm like recently I've been like really into it again, and it helps me so much with writing, because it makes me the words mean something more than just that it sounds good. You know what I mean, to me, which I think is something I like doing. It works with me. So.
I saw you had merch. You should do some poetry books.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. That would be sick. Or you can stream the songs and you get all
that too. That's true. You could do, honestly, that would be like really cool if you did like a poetry, I don't know, interactive
that'd be cool.
book sort of deal. Like listen to this. Okay. I also saw you performed on GBC TV a lot and been on their radio broadcast. I'm assuming that's Gibraltar Broadcast Channel.
That's right.
Like a national
Okay, very cool. Can you kind of talk about that experience?
There's been a few times, but I think it started off playing like this thing called The Hub, which is like a
talk show.
Yeah, it's like a talk show where they bring other people on, and then we'll play like Layla's done it as well, where you play like is it 2 songs?
2 songs, yeah.
2 songs, and you'll get a little money from it, which is nice.
Okay.
But yeah, you play songs, and it's a cool place to like showcase yourself, and you get to meet like. I met loads of people. I don't know that people are speaking on the things and talking about like.
Is it all people from around there?
Yeah, it's like just speaking about like sometimes it's just like advertising things, or like I don't know, like when I did it once, it was like people talking about a sickness that they just wanted to promote that was like just people to know that it was there. You know what I mean? So like people were aware of it, which I think was nice, and you get to talk to loads of cool people and meet people. It's always cool. Well, it's not cool, but it's weird getting your makeup done and stuff. So, like,
I love it.
Like loads of foundation on.
Have you been on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. It's quite popular. I feel like they do it every Wednesdays, which is it's nice. Yeah. So I think that was my first experience with GBC, and then they've brought me on for like radios with like James Collab is a guy that does a radio show, and he's really nice. He brings me on. He always every time I've got a song to release, he's like, you need to get on it, which is really
that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Well. So you have some experience doing something like this.
Yes, it never gets easier though. It's always like I forget how to speak. It's like
I will say the lucky thing with this is that it's not live, so we can always edit whatever. So no worries. But I used to do a radio show at MTSU, so it was definitely there were times I was like, and couldn't edit it out. So it definitely can be nerve-wracking. Okay, so then shortly after that, I will say, like, you've been really good at being consistent with your releases and
thank you.
Kind of,
it's been hard.
Yeah, I would imagine. I assume you record in Brighton?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All 3 were recorded in Brighton.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm recording now with a guy who I met while recording the other ones. His name is Vince, and he's great. He's so good, and so I've been recording stuff with him, and I'm going to release a new song on the 24th of May. The Mandolin song, which is a questionable name, I think, personally. I don't know why, I just didn't know what to call it. So, but it goes with the mandolin starts and it finishes with it, so it's...
Yeah, what instruments do you play? Because I obviously knew you played mandolin, but...
Well, I feel like I play guitar and sing, obviously, but I could play mandolin, I could play banjo. Okay. It's like anything that's like...
Strings.
Similar, I could do it, but... piano I can get by,
Okay.
but I would never call myself a piano player. Like, I know the chords.
Gotcha.
I know, like, I can find a middle C now. Yeah, definitely just guitar and harmonica as well. I feel like I play a lot of harmonica recently, which is fun. Actually, I can play drums now.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't think about that one, but Danny might say, my housemate might say I can't, but I can.
Okay, so then you released Free My Mind, which definitely was like more upbeat, kind of fun romp.
That
like,
one was the most, like, I felt like was the most country one.
Yeah, definitely
Okay.
from all your songs
Yeah.
apart from
So
the
it
other
was
one.
like kind of me trying to get out there a little bit with that and experimenting, because that's what these songs really were to me. They were university projects at the same time.
right.
Do you know what I mean? So it was a bit experimental. So
Right. And then you just recently released, not recently, you released Evergreen shortly after that.
yeah.
And can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Evergreen is about everlasting love. It is, but it's not.
So sentimental.
Yeah, it's. I feel like
sweet.
it's about so many places and things at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, I think it was a song that when I wrote it, I felt like was a certain vibe. I was like, this is it. This is the sound I want to go for. Then I recorded it, I released it, and then I realized that somewhere in between all three songs I've released, there's the style I really want to write. So it's like, it still feels like an experimental thing for me.
Yeah.
But people really like it. It feels
It's
like
a good one.
Yeah,
It's a
everyone
good
really
one.
likes it, and the production is great. Honestly,
Yeah.
if I say so myself, I didn't do it, but Vince did a great job in the production, and everyone else seems to think so. I think, and that's it's a cool song. Especially the process was fun, right?
Yeah.
Writing it, it's cool.
Yeah. And now, like we said, you're getting ready to release the mandolin song. And that's kind of about moving away from home and just kind of all the feelings that come with that.
Yes.
And so would you ever consider moving back home?
I have. I feel like I consider it every day. Yeah, I feel like it's always it's everyone has that love-hate relationship back home, you know what I mean, with the things. And I think there's so much I love from back home that it's always like, is it worth me being away from home all the time? I'm gonna miss all the time with my family and all this, like seeing everyone like grow up. My cousin, every time I go back, I see my little cousin. She's like old and
Not the one she's beefing with.
No, yeah, she's like actually speaking. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I think that part, I don't know if you feel the same.
No,
I
never
mean,
consider moving home. I love home, but I never consider moving back.
100%.
But if you don't care if I add, though, I feel like Gibraltar is very much like, it's a very, very family oriented. Sorry, now I have an identity crisis. I don't know which one's the right one. Like, and we're like much more than like you would find in the US. I feel like, and like not that many people ever actually move away from home. So like when you do, it's a big deal because no one really does it. People do, but it's the exception. It's not like the norm.
I got you.
So,
So
like,
I mean, just like a lot of small towns in the US.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah.
So I feel like it's easy to kind of feel that guilt of not being home because everyone is home with their families, taking care of each other. And then like, I guess you see yourself alone in a different country and you're like, I could have this family lifestyle and all the help from my family, but I choose not to be. You know what I mean? So I feel like that adds to it.
100%. Yeah, it's.
Are you a homebody, would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I love my family, and I feel like it's. I don't know, and the nature's different. I love nature, so I feel like I don't know. I've grown up in that nature, whereas England's kind of not that or everything's, but where I am, like Brighton surrounding it is quite hilly, and we don't really have that in Gib. It's kind of more rocky, like kind of thing.
And
But,
you come to Nashville and it's like it's building after building,
which is why I think
suburbs.
why I think I moved away from Manchester was like the beach, because I needed that one thing that was like that is my home. It's like I can look out and know that I'm not stuck in where I am. You know what I mean? And that's
I love the
important to
beach.
me.
I want to live by a beach wherever I live next.
I always forget how far it is. To be fair, it's from
Like a 7.5 hour drive to the closest beach.
Do you miss the beach?
I miss the beach so much. Like that's the one thing I miss the most, apart from the people back home and the food. But honestly, lately more the beach than anything.
Okay, so we're gonna take another quick break, and we're gonna come back and kind of wrap up talking about the mandolin song and talking about your show and yell items.
Thank you once again for listening to Successfully Unsigned. I would like to take a moment during this break to remind you to visit our website at su-podcast.com to view all of the newest and latest content that we put out. Also, do us a huge favor and hit like and subscribe on this YouTube video, and like and rate us on your favorite streaming platform. Each one of those things helps us out tremendously. We would love to hear your thoughts on what artists we should have on next, what content we should cover, what kind of topics we should discuss, and any tips and tricks you might have in the music industry. Thank you for being one of our favorite listeners, and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, welcome back. Okay, so real quick, is there anything else you wanted to say about the mandolin song? And kind of like what makes it special?
What makes it special, I think, is actually that it felt like it was a part of a new era of writing.
Okay.
Even though it's the start of it, and it's a learning part of it. It felt like it was a new era of songs, which is a nice thing for me. It feels like, which is cool.
Go stream it because it'll be out by the time this episode comes out. So go
it's really
stream
bad,
it.
so you should. You should see how bad it is.
Go leave hate on it. Yeah. Any publicity is good publicity. That's what I say.
Call him in a crack in a bad way.
You make me want to do crack. Okay, so for your live shows and stuff, like, how did you find your band? Are they all like schoolmates?
3 of them live with me.
Okay,
which is nice. Yeah, which helps.
Yeah, you have a big band.
Yeah, it's nice. 6 of us, including me. And then I've got another friend with two of the other ones I met during the recording of Free My Mind and Evergreen. Leon and Oscar, and they one's Swedish and one of them is Brazilian, which is nice because it kind of brings a.
Okay.
We're all not from England, so it's nice that everyone else is not from England because for some reason it just brings like a sense of like community and belonging of that, and it's really nice. And Oscar's amazing, and so is Leon. What they do is incredible.
Yeah. Where were kind of some of your like culture shocks moving over there, if any? Moving
to England, I don't think there was much. I feel like I expected it.
Okay.
I don't know why. I feel like we've gone to England. It's not like a foreign place to us because we do London trips and stuff for school.
Gotcha.
You also like live with your cousin.
Yes.
Okay.
So like my ex. So like I feel like it's easier to have that sense of community when you live with your cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because the band only started this year. Last year. Yeah.
Okay.
But we've only played like 5 gigs together. So I've been a solo artist for a while. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to share the stage and to share the nerves because I get very nervous before gigs.
Okay.
I'll be in the toilet like throwing up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I just find it so difficult. I don't know why. I think I'm just anxious all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Don't be. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. I mean, I haven't seen you perform. Are you doing any live shows while you're here?
Maybe an open mic.
Gentleman Gyms, open mic night, Friday night.
This Friday?
Yes. Yeah. Probably at like midnight though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I might be able to pull that actually. I'd be down. I'll text you guys after.
I was telling him we could have a duo if he moved to you. As
literally,
well as single.
Like I literally was watching like those videos and I was like, if you guys ever did like decide to do a full on duo, I think it would do really well.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I think we're just both too stuck in our own sounds to try and change to mold each other's. You know what I mean?
That's also fair.
Personally, for yourself at the same time. I feel like
But I think it would be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get into it. I feel like after a while it becomes a lot easier. And
You would eventually kind of find your step in and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our show and yell. So, like I said, you don't have to like scream, but just be like, notebook.
Yeah.
Which looks like that's what you got. Yeah. So, whoever wants to go first.
Should you go first? I feel like I'll go first. You said mine already too.
I'm sorry. I just stole his show and yell. I'm sorry. Do it.
Lyric notebook.
Hey!
Did I talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is one of many. So I write all my poems and all my songs inside these things. So and I've always got the same one from the same place, which is keeps it. I don't know. Probably OCD thing maybe.
You mean like you rebuy the same one?
Yeah, I rebuy the same book every single time. I don't know why.
Okay.
But yeah, this little book thing, it's a little black book, and it's great because I can write all the time. And I can put it in my pocket, and it usually comes with a pencil, but it's not here today.
Okay.
So yeah.
Have you written in it at all since I know you've only been here for like a little, like a day?
Yeah, I mean, I just bought it like just before coming on the plane, so it's kind of empty except for like a few ideas that I had from just before.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've only had a chance to like play guitar was this morning. And
Okay.
We went to do stuff. But,
Yeah.
I will definitely be getting, like,
I'm sure you'll get some inspiration.
I need it. No, I'm joking. They're great.
Okay.
Nice. Trying to go on.
Me?
Yeah.
Guitar! Was that good enough?
Yes. Some people would just be like, guitar. And I'm like, no, I need you to like at least
I
raise
can
your
go
voice a little
louder if you
bit.
need.
Yeah.
That's okay. So this is the love of my life. I don't love anyone or anything as much as I love this guitar. Well, maybe my family, but like, this is a Gibson J45 2016 model, and this is just the most special thing to me in the world because we mentioned my dad earlier. I grew up playing gigs with him since I could sing. Even if they weren't my gigs, I'd like, try and steal his spotlight on his shows when I was younger. But we would like gig together, and like as a kid, I didn't have to work because I'd played gigs and I made money like as a young teenager since I was 12, basically. And then one summer, like me and my dad, we spent the whole summer gigging and we're able to like save up a significant, well, I would spend all my money as I made it, but like he was able to save up a significant amount of money. And I had dreamed of this guitar for like probably like 4 years before getting this guitar when I was 14. And like, we just talk about this guitar, like almost every day, or every time we played, we'd be like, the day we have a J45 and like the day we're able to own a Gibson or whatever. And then I got my first festival gig lined up in Gibraltar. That was in September. And maybe I think it was a week before or like 5 days before, I got home and then my dad was like, come on, let's practice for the show. And then I said, let me get my guitar. He said, what do you mean? It's right here. And then like from like the side of his bed, he pulled up like a Gibson case and opened this. And like he had just saved up like all the money from the gigs we played over the summer. He saved up towards this, which just melts my heart. And then
Did you cry?
I did. There's a video of it that's very embarrassing because it's literally like when I cry, I ugly cry. Like my face gets scrumbled up and like I'm literally like, no. He's like, yes. I'm like, no. But yeah, so this
I
is
don't know your dad, but I love your dad.
right. You have to
so
love Jonathan,
sweet.
man. He's so sweet. He loves my dad too.
So at the airport, so street
Yeah, they bumped into each other at New Jersey Airport, like at
my
Newark, which is
goodness.
crazy.
If we planned that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, for real. That was
That's
crazy.
crazy. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so this is my favorite thing in the world just mostly because my dad got it for me and also because I've written like almost all my songs on here.
Yeah. Well, this Friday, you'll get to hear her play it. So stick around for
right.
our live session. All right. So then we also always kind of finish with a game just to kind of lighten things up. Basically, it's really simple. I'm going to name an artist and you tell me if you would collaborate with them or not.
Oh.
Make it seem like you're on the same level as them pretty much. So like, let's say, you're some big star and like they just reach out to you.
Okay.
And both of you answer, obviously. Shania Twain.
Yes.
Paul McCartney.
Yes.
I was listening to her while I was making this list. So Nicki Minaj.
Honestly, yes. Just because I went through a Nicki Minaj phase in middle school. So,
As you should.
I always find that really funny.
Yeah, I thought I
As you
could
should.
rap terrible times, but I would love to collaborate with her if I could.
Period.
It
She's
would
so
be-
I've seen
good.
an interview. She seems really nice as well.
She's awesome, man. It would be a crazy song, but it would be cool.
Yeah, I've rapped Nicki Minaj many a times on this show. What did you say?
Yes.
Yes.
You-
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj.
Luke Bryan.
Yes.
Yes. I don't listen to him as much, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah Khan.
Yes.
I knew you would say yes.
Yeah.
I always try to include like some random ones and then ones that I know that the people
I
like.
hate him and I love him because he's collaborated with everyone I wanted to collaborate with. And he's done it all in one go and I'm like,
You hate him out of jealousy.
I hate him out of jealousy.
Yeah,
I
not
love
out
him.
of hate.
I love him so much.
But if you're watching this, Noah, collaborate with him.
Basically.
Please.
Lady A.
Yes. Lady Antebellum.
Lady
We spoke
Antebellum.
about them all. Need you now.
Oh my yeah, I like that song.
I love Lady
I
A.
love it. Yes.
Miley Cyrus.
Yes. I love Miley.
Yes. I have a Miley Cyrus doll over there.
Oh,
From like Hannah Montana days.
love her.
Willie Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000 times yes.
Yeah.
Like that's my dream collaboration.
Literally,
I think he's
yes.
more.
country.
Fleet Foxes.
I don't know who they are.
Okay, neither do I.
Okay.
They're quite folk.
Yes, yeah. I looked up literally folk artists. So I was like, I've heard of them, but I don't know them.
Do they sing Mykonos?
Yes.
Okay.
Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who
You'd be
wouldn't?
stupid if you
Yeah.
didn't. You'd be stupid if you
Most
didn't.
iconic woman in
No
this
matter like what
world.
genre you were.
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't know her discography at all. But she seems cool.
You should. I heard she might be moving to Nashville, so.
Well, she's releasing that country record, right?
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Did you listen to her Country Roads cover?
I didn't honestly. Oh, I did actually. Yeah,
Okay.
that was good. Yeah.
I liked it. Dale didn't care too much for it,
Yeah.
but
I just like the original is so iconic to
Yeah,
me that
it's hard.
changing it up just doesn't work for me personally.
fair.
But I think she did it in a unique way to well, you can't really compare it that much to the original. So
I saw her in Nashville this past year, and she sang, I don't remember what song it was, but she sang some country song, and it was so good. I love Lana though. I love Lana. Beyonce.
I would. I like Beyonce. Like I feel like a lot of country fans really hated on her album.
The way I
But-
wrote Beyonce and didn't even think about the fact she just released a
Really?
country song.
Yeah, but I think I appreciate the album. And I don't consider it a country album at
And
all.
she doesn't
No,
either.
exactly.
She said it's a Beyonce
It's
album.
inspired by country,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool. But
Yeah.
but I would definitely
I
do
think
that.
everyone put words into her mouth and the country
Yeah,
side
for
of
Yeah.
it.
real.
Yeah.
I
What
think
about
it'd
you?
be
Yeah, definitely.
you'd be crazy not to collaborate
Yeah.
with me, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah. We tried to sorry, this is kind of irrelevant, but we took a picture today where he threw the chair off the roof and I like picked up a chair for the picture and got yelled at by the security guard. I was like, I'm not actually gonna throw it.
I'm sure they have to do that like daily.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, for sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I asked him, I'm like,
Yeah,
have other
it's
people
usual.
taken the same picture? He said yes. Like so many people.
Is the sign still there?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. Okay, and then we always end on this one because we have a complicated relationship with her, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean,
would.
obviously, yeah. That's another one where I'm like, you kind of be stupid not to. Even if you kind of be stupid if you didn't. Even if you're like on a high level, like she's kind of above everyone else.
Yeah,
Still.
right.
So it's
Yeah,
kind of like,
she's in top of the world
I'm
right
like,
now.
if Ice Spice can collaborate with her, then
Yeah,
why not?
no, for sure.
Okay, well, I feel like the rest of my notes I had already said about just how much I love y'all's voices, and I'm genuinely so obsessed with y'all singing together. I asked if there was any chance we're getting any featured songs together, but I guess not. It's fine.
Not in the near future.
Not in the near
If you
future.
like
but-
in common on every video we have, then maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but genuinely, like I like I said,
At some point, I'm sure.
I'm not kidding. I literally, when Layla texted that he was coming, I said, yes, absolutely, please come. My only requirement is that you do a personal concert for me of Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. So we're going to do that in our live session. Promote yourselves, like any of your social medias and any upcoming projects, anything like that. I know we've talked about some, but just...
Yeah. Well, you should follow me on TikTok, Instagram.
Her TikTok's really good. You're doing like, I love the little series you're doing right now of like Gibraltar
Cultural
versus the
differences.
US.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I find it important that people know about my background. So I
Yes.
feel like that's an important thing to have on there. But you can follow me on TikTok and under the Layla Rose Music and on Instagram, and then also the Layla Rose Band on all platforms and streaming platforms too.
Go stream Howl at the Moon and drive his truck.
Please.
My turn?
Yes.
I don't even know. Follow me on Instagram. That would be great. Nikolai Celecia. NIKOLAICELECIA. There we go.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Go follow us at successfully_unsigned. Go to our website, su-podcast. Give us money. Do all the things, please. And get ready for their live session coming out this Friday. Oh, and go stream the mandolin song.
Yeah.
It's out
24th
now.
of May. No, 24th of
Well, it will be out by the time this comes out. So it's technically out now, sort of. Thank you guys.